New highs are in sight for Amazon. Let's talk about the details. Welcome back, guys. Let's talk about the recent developments with Amazon stock. Now, Amazon recently reported strong Q1 results with significant growth across all business segments. So we want to talk about that. But what are the key drivers that are really behind this growth?
Well, really, they displayed strength in all of their core business segments. So there's firing on all cylinders. Retail is growing, AWS is growing. On the retail end, I would say that was probably more widening use of digital and deepening penetration of clients more so than spending growth on the consumer end, but still it's growing. And then AWS, it grew 17%. It's 17% of the revenue. It's becoming a significant portion of the business. And the company says that it's seeing significant demand. What did they say? Strong demand driven by long-term deals and larger clients. So this is like a double tailwind inside that segment. So as long as they can sustain some consumer end growth, they should be in good shape for quite a few more years.
All right, Thomas, in your article, you had mentioned that it's really the analysts that are going to drive Amazon to new heights. So how exactly do the analysts fit into the equation here? I mean, what specific aspects of Amazon's performance are they really finding to be the most promising?
Well, what the analysts are seeing is just what I mentioned. They're firing on all cylinders. All of these major segments are working, but they also see the company still in the early stages of its growth. I mean, as big as Amazon is over the last 20 years, it still has room to grow because not everybody uses the internet. Not everybody uses e-commerce. Not everybody uses Amazon to buy all their stuff all day long. Um, so as far as the analyst community goes, there are 45 analysts tracked by MarketBeat. That is a huge number. I would say that's probably almost 100% of the analysts that give out regular, worthwhile recommendations. They have the stock pegged at buy, and they've been leading the market higher for over the last year. The consensus target is up, more than 50% in the last year, and it's rising post-release, up 15% just in the last few days since it released. The new target puts the market at a new all-time high, which would be a significant pivot technically and open the door for some pretty significant gains.
Now, Chris, I want to hear you jump in here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the recent performance with Amazon. How is this expected to impact Amazon's long-term strategy? Particularly, we're looking at international markets and the emerging sectors here.
Well, one of the things that was interesting for Amazon happened right before the earnings call was they launched their own chatbot to compete with ChatGPT. Their chatbot's called Q. That I think is something that got the analysts excited because this is an example then of a company that's not just talking about AI, but they're doing something that's measurable. Now, Q, as I understand it, Q is something that's more it's more for the internal Amazon employees. So I probably need to do a little bit more digging there, but nevertheless, this is something that that was something that analysts are going to be wanting to see from, let's say, another company like Apple that might not be showing that. And also, I think seeing Amazon launch something like that is exciting for the possibilities that might exist for an emerging sector such as blockchain technology, which Amazon already has in its bag, but hasn't necessarily launched in a big way.
Imagine investing in the next big stock before it hits its peak. Our exclusive report, 7 stocks that could be bigger than Tesla, Nvidia, and Google, introduces you to the growth stocks set to skyrocket, offering unmatched returns for your investment. These aren't just any stocks, they're the carefully selected potential market leaders of tomorrow. Download this free report now to discover the next big superstars.
One of the things I noticed in the report, and I was kind of like secretly thinking, man, is Amazon going to do a dividend? And they didn't, right?
Yeah.
And we've had quite a few of these blue chip tech companies do dividends because they're kind of seeing the peak of their massive growth phases. Yeah. Amazon is continuing to like hammer down on CapEx. So they're still investing. And I think a lot of that investment is one in their own platform, but also in AWS, which is, you know, the growth platform with AI and data centers. So I think that that's probably going to continue for the next, few quarters at least, maybe a couple of years, because the data center end is just really blossoming. It's huge.
Yeah, I would have been surprised if they had announced a dividend. And actually, I think it would have been maybe a little bit more concerning if they did. I think the fact is that they had enough to report with growth in the cloud sector, growth in the, the Amazon Prime with the advertising, that they're showing that they don't need to do the dividend in order to reward shareholders right now. So that's a positive.
Right.
So now let's talk about how these setting new highs, that does come with some technical implications. So can you guys kind of discuss some of the potential market dynamics that will happen if Amazon does achieve these projected prices they're talking about? Also, how is the company going to address the increasing expectations from investors and analysts?
This is a chart of monthly price action. Each one of these bars is 1 month of action. But you can see Amazon was trending steadily higher up until 2020. And then we get that little bit of that bubble that we had, the event that shall not be named. But this bubble, the correction, the rebound, this is a nice trading range. And when we move above this high, that's going to be a significant technical pivot point that opens up some pretty easy to reach targets. And the first target is just the magnitude of this run, which is like from 90 to 180, $100. So we're looking at 280, but this move is also worth over 100%. So the stock could rise as much as 100% from 183, given these technical projections. With the analyst, with the analyst leading the market, I would expect to see the simple projection reached within the next year or two, and the bull case scenario might happen over the next 5 to 10 years.
All right, so to wrap this up, what do you think that investors should be most excited about here?
Growth,
Yeah.
and exciting the analysts, because really Amazon is kind of a momentum tech stock. So as long as they're keeping the market excited, investors will be excited, and that should keep the stock price moving higher. We hit that technical pivot, and I see it triggering an influx of even more new money, and that would add even more momentum.
Yeah, we're really starting to see kind of this word gets used a lot today. It's bifurcation, but we're seeing a lot of that in the tech sector where even with the chart that Thomas just showed, you're seeing a lot of tech stocks that were out of favor a little while ago are now back in favor. And I just think you're seeing a lot of that. And right now, Amazon's in a good spot because they're showing the things that are exciting analysts right now and are going to be attracting investor money. And it'll be interesting to see that compared to maybe a stock like Apple, to see maybe Apple's not doing that as much. We'll have to see. And certainly Tesla would be in there as one of the ones that isn't showing analysts what they want to see right now.
All right, well, thank you everyone for tuning in for this Amazon update. We'll be right back here at MarketBeat to see how these developments unfold and how it's going to impact Amazon's pursuit of new market highs. So be sure to check back soon. Until next time, happy investing.